And it's time.
Under caution here at New Hampshire in a development for the second place running car, Martin Truex Jr. He just told Colburn, I have no shifter in the car. He just told the team that for the first time moments ago. So they're going to hand him a vice grip, try and put it back together himself inside the race car. Big development for the second place man, Dave.
No such problem for the leader, Matt Kenseth. This car is just a little loose at the start of the run. They'll go to the tires and the fuel, 2 on the right. As for Kyle Busch's teammate, way too loose at the start. He'll go for 2 tires as well, Cal.
Kevin Harvick said his 4 got looser as he ran it. It was right side tires only for the 4, Marty.
Truex will come to a stop. They're going to put right sides on it. They're going to push him out here. They are not going to hand him a vice grip. He's going to do his best to can and leave in 4th gear. You can see him struggling to get off pit road. He will make it out of pit road, but had to do that in 4th gear. A tough task for Truex.
Very tough task, not only to get out of pit road, but for the restart coming up. We're going to see in just a moment. Seems like it's getting worse for him.
Well, he's led 123 laps today. It's been a terrific day for Martin Truex Jr. But not only does he not have a shifter in the car, when he left pit road with that clutch, he lost the clutch as well. Here's what they said on the radio.
Yeah, now I got no clutch. It burned the clutch right out of it. Is it slipping or is it still moving? It's not slipping. I just can't disengage it. So I've got no clutch and I've got no tranny. I'm direct drive.
So if he's in 4th gear, he cannot restart right here very well. So everybody behind him has really got to be paying attention. He's going to try to lay back and get a run, but it's not going to be easy to do.
And they can't pass before they get to the finish line, and they're going to because he's slow. Green flag back in the air. 33 laps to go. Drivers knew he was going to cause a little bit of an issue there as the smoke now coming out from behind the 24 of Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott was right behind the 78 as the battle for the lead starts. Matt Kenseth looks to the inside of Denny Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin holding him off with those old tires.
Not supposed to change lanes before you get to the start-finish line, but if the car in front of you is having mechanical issues, I don't know what you're supposed to do. You know, you got to get away from it.
Oh, into the wall goes Alex Bowman. He was running in the top 8. Looks like left rear tires down, Mike.
And that was it. It had left rear damage, a tire rub, and it had been going for some time. You may have seen some tire smoke just before that. The team was scrambling. They were ready to come down pit road just before he slammed the wall.
Also, the 24 of Chase Elliott. We saw a little smoke coming out from Chase Elliott. May have been some contact on that restart. A lot of damage to the left front.
See the 88. Left rear tire smoking right here, coming off from turn 4 down the front stretch. The 24 is to his inside. You go down into turn 1, the 88 has a flat tire.
Yep, you can already see it
He's up
there.
against the wall, and when he has a flat tire, out of screen goes the 24, who I think also had a flat left front tire.
And it got into the wall as well hard.
Yeah, there are backups here. You can beat this 24 on the outside. You say hi, say hi. All right, hold the brake here. Just hold the brake. Just hold the brake. Hold the brake. You roll now. Let it roll. Stay up high.
You see the in-car, the 24 also has a flat
Right
tire.
in front of you, back it down.
What a big change of events, especially for the 24. You think about, we keep talking about this chase. This is the 3rd race in a row that these guys are going to end up with a bad finish. They had this huge lead. They were high up in the chase grid, but those points are coming off quickly.
Coming into this race, 63 points. Chase Elliott was in front of the cutoff line. Now working hard just to get to pit road, Mike.
And such a disappointing ending for the young Alex Bowman, looking for his first career Sprint Cup Series top 10. Damage all the way around that race car. The team did a nice job, though, pulling away some of that sheet metal from the tires, able to change all 4 before pulling away.
Alex Bowman going back out on the track, and as you mentioned, a great run. Running in the top 10, he was running 8th when that tire went down.
And Rick, Chase Elliott restarted 8th, Rick, and got into some contact there, obviously. But for his first time here in a Sprint Cup car at New Hampshire, had done a very credible job all day. But now, of course, as you mentioned, really good on points on the chase grid coming in, but doesn't want to lose this many.
Yeah, so much body damage. And again, the 24 was behind Martin Truex Jr. on the most recent restart. Let's take a look again at what took place. We know Martin Truex Jr. is stuck in 4th gear.
Right, so they approach the restart zone. The 78 can't go. The 24 tries to go, and he makes just a little contact but to the back of the 78. It didn't look like a lot of contact, but from that point on, we saw some smoke come out of the 24 car.
And I think the 41 car actually gets into the side. Watch right here. See right there, the 41 car. And the 41 car had the 14 car had no idea that he was going to turn left, because typically on a restart, you have to stay in line. And so you're not expecting a guy to turn left. But with Truex's problem, had he stayed in line, it would have been a big wreck. So Truex's problem, not being able to take off, caused a lot of problems behind him.
Yeah, and to be clear, NASCAR's rule is you must stay in line on the restarts, but there is an exception to that rule if the car in front of you doesn't maintain speed, and that's what the 78 car is doing. As you see him drop back through the field, they don't expect the entire outside lane just to wait for the 78 to go, but it is never a good feeling when you're stuck behind a car with a problem, and the Martin Truex in this 78 is going to have to try to attempt another restart being stuck in fourth gear.
And all the spotters know this is going on. They all saying, hey, 78's having trouble, but you can't plan for what's going to happen because you just don't know. You said Chase Elliott, he just lost all that momentum by being side by side. Again, here we see it again. You got to find a way to get singled up.
Well, now Jeff Gordon's going to think, I'm going to get Chase Elliott here and the 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in that bright orange Sunny D machine.
Imagine the feeling right now. Jeff Gordon just went by the 24 car. Not sure he could say he's done that too many times in his career.
Chase Elliott on pit road as well. He's been chasing the nose of the car, having to wait on that. They'll make a wedge adjustment, air pressure, 4 tires in Sunoco Race 2.
Chase Elliott.
Lap count, 37 laps, 38 laps. They're doing the math. Very important to remember. 3 pace laps. They didn't count. So this 2 car, Brad Keselowski, has had to run 3 laps at a cautious pace to start the race. You see the 24 Chase Elliott trying to get by the 2 on those fresher tires. But Brad Keselowski and Paul Wolfe, 21 Sprint Cup wins. 5 of those were on a fuel mileage strategy. So this is not outside the box of where they are normally at. They're always aggressive. I love the call. This is what the playoffs drive. Brad Keselowski, he's in the playoffs. Joey Logano, he's in the playoffs. Let's try to win the Brickyard 400.
This team has forced other teams to change their strategies throughout the last couple of years. They have been very aggressive, kind of rewrote the book, pitted when other people wouldn't even consider pitting, and have found ways to make it work. So they are very innovative when it comes to strategy.
We've talked about how big the Brickyard 400 is. I mean, it down the backstretch already has almost a second advantage over Carl Edwards. Martin Truex Jr. is third. Harvick and Kenseth the top 5. There's Chase Elliott, young rookie in the 24 car, taking over for the retired Jeff Gordon, who unretired to sub for Dale Earnhardt Jr. for this race.
In Rick. Kyle Busch.
Not a good restart for Martin Truex Jr. He falls back all the way to 4th. And around goes the 19. Carl Edwards hard into the wall. 31 also around. The 12 or the 2 of Brad Keselowski connected. Danica Patrick in the 10 also involved.
4 back, 43.
Ryan Blaney, I believe the 21, may have been caught up.
And also, you know, about the 4 right behind the 19. Remember, when you get that close to another car, you're pulling the air off of that car. So you're taking a lot of downforce away from that car. You have a car on the outside of you, a car underneath, in front of you. All those things make your car very, very difficult to drive. And he already had trouble on the restart before. He said his car did not turn well at all. You take the aerodynamics away from the car, the downforce, and it drives worse. Watch the 4 car here.
Yeah, we're on board with the 4 car. You're going to see.
Watch him here. 2 and the 2 wide. 2 wide, 2 by 2. Still outside. Tight.
19 just comes up the racetrack. You hear the throttle control. Kevin Harvick does a nice job not running into him. You see up in the right-hand corner.
In the first 120 laps, 4 cautions since then. This one collecting 4 cars.
riding in on a stampede of lightning.
All of a sudden and hit the wall.
And so on racetracks, a little contact there between Blaney and Chase Elliott. Ryan Blaney in the 21, Chase Elliott in the 24.
Yeah, these guys, this race back here for 12th, 11th, 13th, it's been pretty intense. These guys are going at it. Remember,
Place between the 24 and 21.
Yeah, you can see the 24 and 21. The 24 moves down on the 21, trying to side draft him to slow the 21 down. That's a side draft like we see at day issues. If you have speed, you can make it work.
Well, another car with speed is this 24 car, currently running inside the top 10. A few laps ago, we see right here exiting the turn 2, exiting the tunnel. You see the car get high up just to the right side of the groove, has to get out of the gas, close to the wall. His teammate in Casey Kane gets by him. The 3 of Austin Dillon right there as well to get by him. Good move by the young rookie, though. You know how narrow the exit of that corner can get. Even though he only lost a couple spots, that easily could have been right side damage.
We've been mentioning strategy and crew chiefs calling for that strategy. The one thing we have to point out is Kevin Harvick does not have his championship crew chief, Rodney Childers, with him at the
strategies we want, but what overcomes them? Fast cars, and you see 2 of them at the bottom of the racetrack. The 22 of Joe Logano and the 4 of Kevin Harvick trying to make their way back towards the front.
These restarts so critical to grab positions when they're close. Now Logano trying to get by Ryan Newman, and as you had mentioned earlier, Newman, one of the hardest guys to pass on the racetrack.
Guys, this is going to be fun to watch with all this battling going on. Logano trying to get up there and get some spots. So is Kevin Harvick. And remember earlier in the race, Kevin Harvick restarted 15th, ran his way all the way
sideways and into the wall goes Joey Logano. The 24 of Chase Elliott up into him. The caution comes out. Chase Elliott on the bubble as far as getting into the chase. An aggressive move, gets into the side of the 22 and up to the wall they go. We mentioned one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, but being on the outside of Chase Elliott. When Elliott got loose, he took the 22 right up to the wall. Let's take a look.
A lot of damage on the 22 right there. Let's take a look. They're 3 wide here. Newman, Logano, and Denny Hamlin entering, trying to go towards the tunnel. We see the 24 also trying to fill that gap, entering the tunnel turn, Jeff.
Yeah, they enter side by side. The 22 on the outside of 24. See the 24 gets loose right here, has to chase it up the racetrack. We saw this earlier in the race. We've seen the 24 of Chase Elliott have trouble in the tunnel turn. This is the second time. This one obviously is much bigger impact. You just see they enter the corner. They're so low on corner entry. Hamlin's clear though. Hamlin can enter that low. There's no one on the outside of him. The 24 entering that low with that slight angle, and then the 31 right behind him. All of that works against him as having air on the side of his car.
It's a perfect storm for the 24, Rick. You have the 11 in front taking air off the 24, the 22 on his outside pulling the air off his right side door, and the 31 behind his rear spoiler. The downforce on that 24 had to be minimal. Chase Elliott, no chance to save the car underneath the 22.
Yeah, that a little bit of that is you kind of have to know it. You see they're up the racetrack right here already, and big impact. A lot of damage. But you know, listen, as a race car driver, watch this movie. Great view right here. Right there when the 31 pulls behind the 24, that makes the problem worse. That intensifies the air coming off the back of the spoiler.
Get down. Cautious to get him.
And Rick, we've talked about this 22, he has wins. He's in the chase. But the 24, that's a hard hit for Joe Logano there. But the 24, we saw accidents, giving up a lot of points in the last 5 or 6 weeks. Had an okay run last week, but once again in an accident here at Pocono.
And listen, there's times in the race, and especially in the year, where you have to understand maybe one position isn't worth it. Maybe get into the corner a little bit easier, get your car completely under control. Chase Elliott's a rookie, and he's done a great job. In this situation, he probably needed to check his speed up just a little bit and not worry so much about trying to gain that position because of the overall situation they're in. They're trying to make this chase. Again, he's done a great job as a rookie, but right here, just a little too aggressive.
And Jeff, Todd Gordon sent the car chief, Raymond Fox, over to check out the damage on the right for repairs for the 22 of Joey Logano. But as you guys pointed out, they do have a win in the bank. That's their advantage, Dave.
Obviously not for Chase Elliott. In the garage now, the crew has gone to work, especially on the right front of that race car. Crew Chief Alan Gustafson telling the crew getting the splitter up is key. And Steve, you know, once you have to re-engineer these cars, you start changing that suspension in a lot of different ways to make the car go fast as it can and safe.
Yeah, Dave, but you're absolutely right. Repairing these race cars is difficult. You have to make it safe. You have to get to minimum speed. But the penalty is there. The 24 was 62 points ahead of that cut line when we look at the Chase standings. Now, currently only 44 points ahead of that cut line. It was, 6 weeks ago, Jeff, we had the 24 in. We had him in the chase plus 103 points.
Well, that's a great point to bring up because I was just looking at his last 5 finishes. At Sonoma, he goes 21st. The very next race, Daytona, 32nd. The very next race, Kentucky, 31st. The very next race, he goes New Hampshire and finishes 34th. So consistently bad finishes for a guy who started the season off great.
And again, you have to, these are long seasons. A Cup Series year is very long, and you have to keep in mind what's going on within your year, and sometimes you have to adjust your strategy on a given lap, on a given corner.
This brings out our most recent caution, the 6th of the day. Logano in the wall, Elliott on his inside. 24 of Chase Elliott coming back out onto the track.
Well, the 24 needs to try to get back on the racetrack because when you look at the run now, you have Trevor Bayne in the 6th position, a good run for Trevor Bayne. A.J. Allmendinger back in the 11th position on fresher tires than some of the cars in front of him. So a couple of other cars fighting for that Chase bubble spot.
And a great opportunity for Kyle Busch. One of the best at restarts coming to
the area that could pop up or continue to move around, but it seems like at the moment, fog is our number one concern.
It's been a tough day for the driver of the 24, Chase Elliott. He has had a run in a few times with different drivers, one of those being Ryan Blaney. Here's the fight down the front stretch with the 21.
Two Rookie of the Year candidates going hard at each other, racing hard as you would expect young guys. Aggressive move from the 24 car, entering the tunnel turn.
Following after that 11 of Denny Hamlin, thought he had the position. Then up into the 22 and into the wall goes the 22 and then the inside wall for the 24. They went back in the garage and went to work on that car. And Chase Elliott now standing by with Marty.
Well, Rick, Chase has watched all of those highlights, and I don't know where to start with your day. Let's start with the contact with Ryan Blaney. What happened there?
I don't really think anything much. We were racing hard. I hate to put anybody in a bad spot. We were had a bad segment of events prior to that, and I was trying to stop the bleeding, doing all I could do. I felt like we were falling back. We were losing too many spots, and I had to do something to try to keep from continuing to fall back and just lose all that track position. So hate to put anybody in a bad spot. Glad nothing happened there, but obviously that didn't work out later on.
And then with Joey Logano, that was just after a restart, so some very tight racing there as well.
Yeah, it came off of one. Those guys were 3 wide. Thought Denny had the best run, so I elected to push him down the back or down the exit of 1 there, and I thought that would be a good move to kind of get him past, and hopefully he dragged me by, and I was just still next to him and got in there. I thought I slowed down enough to not get loose, got loose and collected Joey, so I apologize to the 22 guys, completely my fault, and apologize to my guys, man. They gave me a good car today, and I need to rethink my evaluation of how I'm going to approach these races because it's not working out right now.
Well, you mentioned rethink things. It's been a rough month and a half for you guys. What's been going on? How do you not let that get you down?
Just poor decisions on my behalf, I think, is the biggest thing. So you just the best way to fix it is to obviously see that first, notice it, and just go to work. And like I said, rethink my approach. It's definitely not working. And we've had good cars. Had another good car today. I felt like we were, a step in the right direction from where we had been the past couple of weeks, which I felt like was a good sign. Just didn't do my part. So just need to rethink things, try to do a better job, and put ourselves in a better position. It's not bad luck. It's just me putting us in bad spots.
Well, self-reflection for Chase Elliott, hoping to do a little bit better, hoping he can get back going here at Pocono today. And another tough challenge for him next week, guys. Watkins Glen coming up next.
We go back to the past 6 races as Chase Elliott right now scored 33rd. Has not had the finishes that he's been hoping for, and it all started at Sonoma, 21st, then 32nd, 31st, 34th. a little bit of a bright spot, if you can call 15th place for Chase Elliott a bright spot at Indianapolis last week. The Chase standings, he's currently 63 points above the cut line, or was there. But Chase Elliott 45 points now as we see the standings, 45 points in front of that cutoff line, and only 5 races to go.
Yeah, and one of those races is Watkins Glen, where anything can happen at that race. We have a lot of races coming up that things can happen. And look, listen, I like Chase Elliott so much as a race car driver and as a person, because I love the fact that he said this isn't luck.
Right.
We control it. You just said it a little while ago about Chris Buescher and his team's call. Listen, you have things that happen that are good luck and bad luck, without a doubt. But when you take the outlook like Chase Elliott does and says, look, this isn't luck. I need to do a better job. We need to do a better job. I love that attitude. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength and a sign of confidence that he can outwardly say that, and he's willing to look at himself and how he can be better.
Parker, if Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney are okay, yeah, they're fine. They're sitting here beside each other, and let's talk about the up and down day for. We just talked to him. Talk about the up and down day for you, Ryan Blaney. Boy, now you and your best friend Chase Elliott had a run at Kentucky. You made him dinner after that. Now today he ran into you. Does that mean he owes you dinner?
Did he run into me?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I don't remember that. I don't know. He did pinch me down in the tunnel turn pretty bad, and I almost wrecked him again. But yeah, he'll probably make me dinner or something. Give me something back.
All right, so make that happen. Make sure Chase makes you dinner so he can apologize. All right, Ryan Blaney currently 11th, but would love to go back racing, guys.
I would trade that back to not have that happen. But, things happen. We'll fight through. Like you said, there's a lot of positives that happen today. We're going to focus on those and move forward.
But on restarts, though, that's kind of what you have to do. You have to race like that on restarts here at Pocono, right?
Yeah, that's my job. We're really, I think my team does a really good job on restarts. We're ultra aggressive, and a lot of times you come out ahead for that, and sometimes you don't. But we have a win. We're going to race hard, and in all honesty, like we said plenty of times, finishing second doesn't pay anything for us. It's all about the win, so we're going to get ourselves back up there. So we knew we had a winning race car, and just things happen. When you get side by side with cars, they get really loose, and he just didn't slow down enough.
But as they mentioned, a lot of positives coming out of the day for Joey Logano and his race team. A lot of speed in that 22 car this afternoon, Rick.
Thank you, Marty. To life, and already they're talking about saving fuel. Drivers that are right on the bubble, like Ryan Newman, Chase Elliott, guys fighting for every point that they could possibly get to see if they can make it into the top 16 at the end of the year, including the guy who won a week ago, Chris Buescher.
In this situation, we just all but put ourselves in the chase.
Multiple stories when it comes to points and who's going to be eligible for the chase. Breaking is at Watkins Glen. Well, Casey Mears was very nice to us here at NBC and allowed us to put some creative onboard cameras. Not only do we have one looking at the driver himself as you see him climb the S's, but how about this shot underneath the front suspension? You see how hot the headers glow. They're bright red there as he's wide open on the go. Big moment between him and the 24, Chase Elliott. But then look at the brake rotor. As he gets on that heavy braking into the inner loop, it's going to be heavy on the brakes. You look on the right side of your screen, it looked like Tony Stewart missed the inner loop, which means he has to come to a complete stop. But what a great shot by Casey Mears.
Could it be Kyle Larson running in the 4th spot? And around goes the 4th. Kevin Harvick involved in this one, as is the 23 of David Ramos in the bus stop.
See Paul Menard, he had all 4 tires, got into the side of the 6th. Now he's up the racetrack, has to try to find a way back onto the racetrack. A lot of dirt on the track. Drivers can't see. They all get stacked up. Now it's a chain reaction.
More than 4 cars damaged. 34 of Chris Buescher was also involved. That's the 34, the yellow and blue on the inside up against the Armco barrier.
Got back there and got tore up. It's Kevin Harvick. Unfortunate day. Kevin Harvick will not be able to finish today.
We were wondering why the 4 came to pit road that one time break. We thought he was decent on fuel. You see a hard hit right there. Kevin Harvick. Hey, you know, we keep talking about the Chase standings, and we keep talking about the 31 and the 1 and the 42 and Allmendinger trying to bend. But one car that's had kind of a quiet day is Chase Elliott, all the way back in 18th position. We've seen accidents in these final restarts. Chase has done a good job keeping his car clean. You see, it probably has the least amount of damage of any car out there. At plus 46 currently over the chase line. He's had an up and down day. He started 18th, up to 9th, down to 27th, currently 18th. He just needs to get this 24 car to the finish, protect his points. It's been a rough 6 or 7 weeks for this 24 car. We know how crazy this will be. We see right in front of him the 88 of Jeff Gordon, all that damage on the nose of his car. So Chase Elliott, while he doesn't have the speed he probably has hoped for this weekend, he has done a good job of staying out of trouble.
Well, Steve, considering their last few weeks, as you mentioned, they're happy just to get out of here with a clean race. In fact, Alan Gustafson told me earlier today, if we get out of here with a top 10, maybe even a top 15, I'll consider that a win for this 2014, just to get us going back in the right direction and build that confidence a little bit. You know, they were the best car by far here at the test, and they told me, listen, I don't know how everybody else caught up so much to us, but when we came back, we were running the same stuff, and we were way off. So clearly, a little bit better today for Chase Elliott, but dealing with a very loose race car.
4 laps to go. Denny Hamlin also in a position where he's trying to stretch this 41 laps.
It did not take long for that bottom groove of the track treated with resin to come in as rookie Chase Elliott makes his way by the 11 of Denny Hamlin, and the 24 led the field.
Kurt Busch trying to take that top spot away from Joey Logano. Brad Keselowski was able to get by. Oh, and sideways goes the 41. Contact with the 2 of Brad Keselowski. Caution comes out. The 21 also involved.
Inside. Hold tight here.
Looked like the 41 of Kurt Busch got really loose off.
Kyle Larson also a lot of damage, as well as Brian Scott in the 44. See all the damage to Ryan Blaney in that 21. Look at the fluid come out.
Wrecked in front of us, and they all checked up and came up in front of us. Yeah, just blew out of it. I think we're done.
And this looks interesting.
I don't think there's anything Brad could have done there.
No.
Get a replay of it, but it looked like to me Kurt just got really loose off of turn 2. So loose that I always thought he had a problem, but get a replay and get a better view of it.
It always amazes me. You heard Kevin Harvick get out of the gas, saw the accident happen, but then has enough just talent, really, talent and sense to get back in the gas. Look at Jimmy Johnson for a big slide here. But, you know, enough talent to get back into the gas to drive through the wreck before they have a chance to get up and get him. With the 24, Jeff, you were mentioning, it looks like some heavy damage to the hood and the nose. It'll be interesting to see if there's any damage to the cooling system. That's right up there in that area.
See, Paul Menard had the right front tire locked up to try to miss the wreck, so he may have flat spotted it.
Locks it up again. Coming at us.
Look how fast everything happens.
Chase got me from behind and turned me in the fence, and then I'm not sure where Blaney was going. I'm still not sure. He lifted and he just finished us off, so just kind of the wrong place at the wrong time.
Unfortunate end to Matt Kenseth's day. Dave?
Standing by with Brad Keselowski, who's getting a first look at the accident there. Yeah, you're already out to the left of the picture there, but what'd you see, Brad?
Yeah, I couldn't really hear you, Dave. But
Dig hard from here. That definitely hurts, especially when we had a good car. But go next week.
Had a good run going too, Rick.
Yeah, he tried to go to the outside, looking as though he was going to avoid, but then as soon as he saw everyone.
Pretty consistent at the front of the field. We see right behind McMurray we have Jimmy Johnson, who was struggling earlier, has came back, currently running in the 4th position. Edwards has been up front. Chase Elliott, we documented, has some damage to the nose. We'll have to see how that continues. But the 3 of Austin Dillon, Jeff, road racing this summer, but it's not over yet. Road America, that's like a classic American road course. They always put on a great show when they go there. Last week, we saw a little bit of racing in the rain. We had enough rain this weekend. Well, next week, if there's any rain in Road America, they'll put the wipers back on and give it a shot.
Talking about
Start 8th today, Dave.
Kelly, in June with 50 laps to go, Chase Elliott had the lead, could have gotten the win that will put him into the chase, but he did what he called a dumb mistake. I asked him this morning if he reviewed any of that video to see if he could correct that. He said no. Then he said, if I don't know what I did in that moment that was wrong, I need to be doing something else. Last I checked, he's still the driver of the 24. Mike?
No fuel and 4 Goodyear tires from Chase Elliott as well. He said the car is a tick free, but I can manage it. It'll be just an air pressure adjustment for Chase.
That have never won in the Sprint Cup Series. Only one driver has scored their first career win at Michigan. That was Dale Jarrett back in 1991. It was his 29th start when he got that first win. Chase Elliott's 29th start today. Dave Burns.
I knew there'd be some numbers that would work out for Chase. He's hoping it's the final few laps in position number 1. Remember, his crew just got him there, telling them before he pitted, I need you guys to bail me out here. They got him the one position he needed, and that car has been stout ever since. Remember, he entered the series with so much promise, but it was the 24. Who could replace Jeff Gordon? Chase Elliott has been solid. He has learned. He has a great team behind him. Today could be that security win that locks him into the chase. Marty?
Dave, we saw the replay of the pit stop for Kyle Larson.
Restarts. Let's listen into his radio on restarts.
Into turn 1. But what he's talking about, if he puts his hand out and he waves when he's getting ready to go, well, Kyle Larson's going to be looking at that. If he sees Chase Elliott's hand move, he's going to go because he knows that's a signal. So Chase Elliott just has to focus on what he needs to do. Don't overthink this. You know, have a restart. The same restart you had when you won races. Running late models have that same kind of restart. The goal is to be leading when you get to turn 1, so Kyle Larson cannot pass you side by side.
Coming up on 10 laps to go in this race, Dave Burns.
Rick, Jeff Gordon has a vested interest in this 24 car. I just stepped up and asked him, hey, can you offer us a little commentary here? He goes, let's see how this plays out. Tell him I'm too nervous. I'd love to, but I'm shaking right now.
Hey, by the way, did you guys know the only person to ever win in the 24 was that guy on top of the pit box? Jeff Gordon, the only driver to win in the 24. Chase Elliott might be changing that today. There's Mr. H, Rick Hendrick, team owner, standing next to Ray Evernham, such a talented crew chief for Jeff Gordon. So many wins, and your mentor, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about that iconic 24 that Jeff Gordon took to victory lane so many times, it really all started with Jeff and Ray. Rick Hendrick put that team together. It won so many races, and it would be interesting to see. Even if Chase Elliott can't win today, it's already been such a great story to see the son of a Hall of Famer fill that seat and then come out, lead laps, contend for wins in his rookie season.
Hey, let's don't forget somebody else that's looking for his first win. Starting in row 2 on the outside lane is Blaney. So don't forget about him. He's a guy that's going to be aggressive trying to get this win as well. So we have 3 of the top 4 have never won, and then back there in 6th we see 2 tires. So
they'll close up Kevin Harvick on 2 tires. Should be interesting through turns 1 and 2.
It'll be 9 laps to go. Chase Elliott on the outside. Kyle Larson on the inside. Ryan Blaney on the outside of row 2. Brad Keselowski on the inside of row 2. 3 of the top 4 have never won in the Sprint Cup Series. That could all change. Green flag back in the air. A tough restart for both of them.
I think they both spun their tires to begin with, and then Blaney got into the back of the 24 and got him almost wrecked.
Kyle Larson out in front. Brad Keselowski running second. Chase Elliott has fallen to 3rd.
9 to go in clean air. Kyle Larson just needs to hope for a caution run. 9 clean laps.
He doesn't want a caution.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There is not a
caution. Kyle Larson out in front. He's got a good gap over second place. Brad Keselowski. Chase Elliott running 3rd.
And you saw both cars on the front row spun their tires. That's because they have older tires. It's so much more difficult to get a restart when you have old tires on. They do not make as much grip. So both cars had trouble. 42 Larson came out on top, though.
And the cars behind them cannot avoid go in either directions until they get to the start-finish line. They have to stay in line until they get to the start-finish line. And there, Chase Elliott makes the pass on Brad Keselowski. He moves up to 2nd, trying to chase down Kyle Larson.
20-year-old Chase Elliott trying to run down 24-year-old Kyle Larson. You mentioned how young these drivers are, Rick. It's unbelievable. And here's a replay of the restart. Look at the front row. Both cars swerving left and right, trying to get power down. The rear tire's just spinning.
And both cars getting more help than they really wanted. We talked about a car from behind pushing, but they were pushing so hard that it was knocking the rear tires off the ground. It's hard to get grip like that.
Brett Moffitt in the Truck Series. Michael McDowell in the Xfinity Series. And now Kyle Larson in the Sprint Cup Series gets his first win, the 2014.
Welcome to the chase, Bob.
Can't believe it.
Here's some of those. This was the restarted, won the race. You can see the 21 of Blaney is trying to push Chase Elliott, but that actually has Chase Elliott's rear tires off.
Smooth laps all the way to victory lane.
Jimmy Johnson made his way into victory lane to congratulate Kyle Larson as well. Dave.
Give me a hole right here, please.
Really similar scenario. Chase ends up second here again at Michigan. Describe that final restart for us.
Yeah, just made another mistake. Had two opportunities to, get out front there and kind of control the race and let Kyle get a better start on me. I spun the tires and didn't do my job right. So it's about as simple as that. When the tires are spinning, you aren't going forward, and that's what I was doing. So just need to try to do a better job at my restarts and take it the positives, I guess, and try to move on down the road. But it's definitely unfortunate. Hate to let my guys down like that. They bailed me out a few times today, and I gave it right back. So unfortunate, but we'll I guess look at the positives and get to Darlington.
I know both Jeff Gordon and Rick Hendrick came over and talked to you. You managed to smile after Rick talked to you. Are you hearing any of it, the consolation or anything like that from them?
No, I mean not really. It's just you just hate to have an opportunity like that again for a second time to make the same mistake twice here in just a handful of months isn't ideal. So. I ought to know better at this point, but as I proved today, I didn't, and I don't. So I need to readjust my restarts, I guess, and just try to do a better job there, and hopefully that'll give us more opportunities down the road.
Chase, you're 27 points above the cut line now. 2 races to go. Can you manage that gap, or can you win at Darlington or Richmond?
Well, if I didn't think we could win, I'd stay home the next 2 weeks. So if I show up to Darlington, if you see me there next week, then yes, I think we can win.
All right, 24 team at Darlington. Let's watch.
Blaney comes away with another strong top 5 finish. You were in the thick of it. But Ryan, I have to ask, I saw you looking over towards victory lane. What was it like seeing another young driver celebrate his first victory?
I don't know. Good job to him. I don't really care. Congrats on Kyle on the first win. That was cool. That restart, I don't know. We all got bottled up, and I was getting shoved, and I was shoving 24, and we were kind of all spinning our tires. It kind of sucks. He deserved that win. 24 did, but strong run by our car. We ran up front all day and towards the front and stayed out there that last caution, which I thought was a good call. And